The New York Mets have made a move in the offseason. I'm here joined by the Yankees beat writer, Greg Joyce, to talk about Luis Severino. Greg, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well, and I want to talk to you about Luis Severino. The news came down today that he is signing with the New York Mets for a one-year deal for $13 million. And I just want to get your perspective here. You've covered Luis for a couple of years now. What kind of pitcher are the Mets getting here in Luis Severino?
Yeah, at his best, Severino can be one of the more electric pitchers in the game. But obviously, the last few years we've seen injuries kind of get in the way in that. So he's a guy that has a high ceiling. We saw at his peak it really was 2017, 2018. He's an All Star both years, one of the top pitchers in the game. I think 17 he was third place in Cy Young voting. He's a guy that when he's healthy and he's feeling good, he can be one of the top pitchers, and he's that kind of guy. But obviously, like I said, that's kind of the injuries, the physical nature of the game has kind of gotten in the way the last few years. This year, he started. They thought he was poised for a big year coming into his walk year. Almost gets through spring training, then he has another last strain, which seems to be kind of a bugaboo for him. Misses the first 7 weeks of the season, then never gets back on track. Struggled through a lot of the season. To the point where in July he calls himself like the worst pitcher. He said he felt like the worst pitcher in the game, starting to look a little bit more like himself, and then he gets an oblique strain in September, and that ends up being the last game of his Yankees career. But it's kind of like for the Mets, it's a 1 year deal, 13 million. When you have Steve Cohen's budget, you can kind of take that chance on a guy like Severino, where he's obviously trying to regain some value. With like I said, he's got the talent. It's
Yeah.
just the injuries have kind of bugged him down. So if they can get him back on track, that could be a big addition for them.
Yeah, it's a great point by you about the injuries. That seemed to be always be the issue lately with Severino. After he signed that extension with the Yankees, he just never worked out for him, and he can never continuously stay healthy or stay on the ball, on the field for the Yanks. So, Greg, the Mets, they needed starting pitching. Is this a good enough move in your opinion about Luis Severino? I know you talked about the potential he can bring to them, but is this a good enough move to fill out one of those rotation spots that they needed to fill?
Yeah, I think so. As long as it's one of the moves and not the move, which it seems like there's more to come. From David Stearns. Obviously, they have a couple holes to fill in the rotation when they really only have Senga and Quintana as their two proven starters in the rotation at this point. They've been in on Yamamoto. One of the many teams that are in on him. I'm sure they'll continue to add to the rotation. But a guy like Severino is kind of like I said. It's 1 year, $13 million, and that's not obviously Severino is hoping to get more, but obviously if he's able to kind of put kind of a little bit of a pillow contract, I guess, of
Hmm.
try to stay healthy this year, get his value back on track, could benefit him, could benefit the Mets. If that's all, if he's able to stay on the mound, obviously that's kind of been his thing. All throughout this year, the Yankees said his stuff was still there. Severino said the stuff was still there. He was healthy, which didn't exactly show itself. But when he is
Right.
healthy, he can be one of those guys. It's just a matter of keeping him on the field and then getting him on track.
Yeah, it's that talent that's there. It's just you wonder if the Mets can hone in on it because, like you said, even though maybe the velocity was there and the stuff was there, it just a lot of teams were barreling him up and making a lot of contact versus him. And you saw obviously results. They were not what he wanted or what the Yankees wanted. Greg, I know this is just the beginning really of the offseason for the Mets and the Yankees as well. A lot of moves still to come, but we appreciate you as always just hopping on and giving us a couple minutes about a move here where Luis Severino stays in New York, man. Appreciate you as always.
Yeah, no doubt, Ryan. Thanks.